Ryu Kamiya continues to baffle me with some of his ideas and design work. Something I can truly admire in the man is also the thing which will either be a major turn on or off. Dracurouge, Chuny Vampire Simulator is a Ryu Kamiya game about playing noble knights in the Everdark. As a previous summary of the lore, so we're all kind of on the same page, Dracula murdered the son, so he left his daughter wives in charge of the world, now ruled by definitely not vampires we swear, and a chivalric code of chivalry. I genuinely sat and read the entirety of the lore section simply because it was completely kino and perfectly coherent, while being batshit insane at the exact same time. But what about the game? The game has to be just as interesting, right? Well, it's definitely interesting. A Chuny Vampire Simulator uses a d6 dice pool system, where the character will roll their dice during a social or combat scene, and then spend the pips on a series of those actions. For example, say I roll a 1-1-5-6, I could spend those pips on a series of actions. I could spend that 5 on using Knight's Chivalry, or spend the 5 and the 6 to use Irredeemable Error for a whole 10 pips. The catch is that the pips are tied to the dice, so something that costs 10, if you spend 11 on it, you don't get the floating one back. It's a nice little puzzle when it all comes together. Now, what are you doing with these dice? These actions are inflicting damage or something, right? Well, again, no. Chuny Vampire Simulator doesn't have health. You're a goddamn vampire. Well, not a vampire. And nothing short of total annihilation is going to bring you down. Instead, you're building up noir and rouge. Noir representing your negative emotions, while rouge is the positive goodness in your heart. When you take damage, you'll take instead 2 noir toward the target. Or when someone hugs you, you'll gain a rouge toward them. Most of these are guaranteed actions, bar if the PC has a resistance die to possibly blunt the effect. Fill up your noir, well, you're going to gain thirst, which is your inner darkness waiting to be set free. Fill up your rouge, you gain warmth, which is the counteraction to your inner evil. At the end of the session, you will make a check to see if you fall into darkness, having been consumed by your thirst. But any thirst gained is actually tempered by your warmth, meaning that you may not even need to. However, thirst is good, as it makes you stronger, adding a flat value to your highest die, while warmth, technically, by itself, does nothing. After 3 thirst, you may fall, which is the closest thing to death you'll actually get to this game, so hopefully you have that warmth as a counterbalance. All of this takes place on a battle map split between the garden, the court, and the throne, which abstracts the map in a very thematic way, which makes social and combat scenes feel almost like being on a stage, with characters dancing around to converse, duel, and plot against one another. Luckily, enemies use just a simple presence system. When inflicting rouge or noir on them, it reduces their health until one of them becomes a wallflower, removing them from the battle. Hell, in the final climactic scene, the characters are free to use both their combat and social actions, meaning that it's entirely possible to hug someone to being a non-threat or become the Undertaker in a tense negotiation. Do I like Chuny Vampire Simulator? Yes, but do I recommend it? Yes, but, and this is with a big but, you have to be invested in it. This is a play and the characters are actors. Not only do most characters not get many abilities, with only 6 total and 4 being chosen from your path and house, and having a fairly rigid system of play, it's a big person investment. When an enemy uses flesh-ripping carnage on you, you can't say, well, I'll take 2 noir toward the monster. You have to say, as the bloody claws tear into my life flesh, nothing but a burning hatred for the beast rises in my heart, clouding my vision in a haze of crimson. But when you use the rest in my arms on an ally, it's not, hey man, remove 1 noir from something. It's, I take you in my arms in your wild rage, feeling your heart beat, slowly calming as it begins to match my own in this lovely night. You are safe, I whisper, safe in these arms of mine. The game falls apart the moment that a little illusion is broken. It's no longer about these dramatic stories of knights and monsters who are one and the same, but making sure to plan your actions so we do 6 presents to this guy this turn and minimize our noir gain. The more drama and less game you see, the better. I genuinely enjoy Chuny Vampire Vampire Simulator. There's something oddly relaxing about the game, something charming that's hard to nail down, but you need the right group, the right mindset, and the right feeling to make it work just right. You're also not going to get more than a few sessions out of this unless you're really invested. My name is Notepad, and this was Dracurouge, or Chuny Vampire Simulator. Like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. Now I must retreat in the sanguine darkness of the soul.